saying goodbye to Paul Gerhard Shelter. It is 6:30 in the morning. We're hitting the trail. Planning to go towards Cedar Creek this morning, and it's supposed to be very hot today in the 90s. So it's a little bit shorter day. I think we're only, there's my first spider web. I think we're only going about 14 or so miles today. So hopefully we'll get there before too much of the heat of the day really kicks in. We're still soaking wet from yesterday. We didn't dry much. But the shelter was nice. No critters. We didn't even really hear any birds or whippoorwills or anything last night. I was reading through the log books. Apparently they had a timber rattler living underneath the shelter back in May, but no sounds of it last night. We are a little over 4.5 miles in. We just made the descent down the big mountain behind us. Fairly long descent. I think it was a little over 1,000 feet. And we're going up here to where our water supply will be. The first run we come to is Waits Run, and it's apparently contaminated from pastures, but we'll head on up to the next one. I think it's called like Little Pond or something along those lines that connects in. This is the 8th and final crossing for Pond Run, and it's very pleasant walking up through here. It is pretty and moss covered and cool right by the stream, but it's also very humid and very buggy and very rocky. Gradual ascent as we climb up to the next mountain ridge, but all in all very pretty. Enjoyed this hike through here. Yeah. So we just stopped back there at those rocks for our lunch, and we are both just literally drenched wet. Like it could have rained on us and we couldn't have been any wetter than we are right now, other than maybe my feet. As you can see, Mishap decided to go sans shirt, but I can't say I blame him. There's literally no words to describe how gross it is to put on a soaking wet, cold, sticky shirt, which I did take off and hang up to dry while we were eating. There's no drying. The humidity is just too high right now, but it was a great break. We're headed to the PATC cabin right now. The cabin is a rental that you can rent from the PATC if you're a member, and there's a spring right past it, so that's where we'll be getting water before we head up the rest of the mountain here, so maybe a half mile away. We're gross. Sugar Knob Cabin. No camping. I'm guessing that staying in a cabin isn't considered camping, huh? Spring is down to the left. So spring is low, but it's running. So here's the privy. That's, I don't know, it's probably about 150 yards away from the cabin. And the guidebook promises, hey, there's a privy, and well, it looks like it's been chewed into a bit. But what they don't tell you is that privy's locked. Well, I've been waiting for this privy, and I needed that privy. So now there's an impromptu cat hole dug right beside this privy. Sorry, PATC. Don't lock your privy. We just took a quarter-mile side trail out to the White Rock Cliffs. According to the trail guide for the Tuscarora, it says it's an excellent view of the Cedar Creek Valley. So I'm assuming that's what we're seeing straight through that gap right there is the Cedar Creek Valley, or if it's the valley right below us. I'm not sure, but it's really quite hazy. The view out to this side is really excellent, but really hazy. You can barely see the mountains in the distance. It is quite nice here though. So we made it to our campsite, and this is the trail going right past. And this is the creek that we're camping beside, but the creek is not moving. It is stagnant. On back, maybe a mile, there was a really good spring that was moving quite briskly. And just for safety's sake, we're going to go ahead and head back to that spring in order to get our water for filtering for the night. And just feel a lot safer getting water from a cleaner water source. It is 7 o'clock in the evening, and we're all set up. Basically, he's already ready for bed. I'll probably lay here and read a while. So our mileage today was about 16.2 miles. That includes the side trail that we took out to the White Rock Cliffs. After we made it to our campsite here and realized there was not good water available, there was another 2.5 mile hike out back to the spring that we had crossed initially. And the spring's great. Spring has good clean water. I'm actually surprised it's still running because everything's just kind of drying up right now. It's been so dry. The bugs here are awful. Like they're swarming the tent. They want us. Not really much wildlife today. We saw a turkey and heard the rest of the flock, we're pretty sure, shortly before we made it to camp today. But that's all we saw all day. Saw 2 hikers coming up the hill. Like they were just about to turn there at the White Rock Cliffs right as we were coming off of that trail. Those are the only people we saw today. It's really hot. It was hot and sticky.
Very hot in this tent.
Yeah, it's hot in this tent. Like our clothes and everything, they're just absolutely soaked. It was just so hot today. I don't even know how much water I actually drank today. Liters and liters and liters of water.
Yep.
That's it. Get some sleep. Hike back to the truck tomorrow. Tom's Brook, here we come.
Yep.
12 miles. And the Dollar General.
We're probably going to stop in there. Because we didn't pack a lunch.
Sounds like a tater chips for dinner kind of day. Or lunch, yeah. Alright, good night everyone.
Good night.
He smells absolutely horrible. Like,
excuse me?
About 21-day-old like feet that haven't been washed. And I'm stuck in this tent with him. I took a shower. I smell better. I smell great.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah,
she does.
I do. Smell. See? Smell.
Stop. What is that in my freaking beard? It looks like...
It's gray.
like snot.
Good morning. It is 6:30 in the morning. Yes, well, 6:24. And we are all packed up, leaving this campsite. Not the best campsite for us. Like I said, it was really buggy last night, and the water source here is no good at the moment.
Our tent was on a slant, so I was sliding downhill all night. So I didn't sleep very good.
It was the only place to put the tent here. I mean, there's not any other places. It's pretty overgrown all around it, and there's blackberry brambles and everything, so you're kind of stuck with the one site only. I lucked out and got the nice level spot, and I slept like a baby. I feel good this morning. Sorry, mishap.
Let's get moving. We'll be all right.
Love you.
Love you.
All right, let's go. We are climbing this mountain. It's the only mountain we have for the day. And about 1,000 foot of elevation for today. Not as much as yesterday morning. I think yesterday we had to do around 1,700 feet. But I have to say, the last 2 days worth of trails are excellent. They're in great shape. The climbing has been gradual, switchbacking, little rocky, little rooty, and it's perfect. Get you a view of it behind us. Yeah, good trail. We stopped back at that spring, collected a little bit of water to help finish out the rest of this trek out of the woods. And after we come down off the mountain, it's a little bit of a road walk into town. 12 miles today.
So this is our view for the morning.
We have made it to the top of the mountain, And there's a little side trail that takes you over. That's a little tent pad there. Nice campsite with an absolutely fantastic view of the towns and valley below. I just want to give a thank you to whoever does the trail has done the trail maintenance through this section. It is very clear that you all have done a lot of work and a darn good job. This section has been absolutely phenomenal, and it was clearly very overgrown. You all put a lot of work in, and I thank you for that. The trail is great. We are currently on a little forest road. We are still kind of skirting the edge of the national forest, walking down this little forest road. So we came out of the trail, came across a short little drive up to a power line, and then crossed Fetzer Road, and then walked behind someone's personal home that is just perched right on the edge of the mountain there with this awesome view of the whole valley below. I would have videoed it, but it is someone's home and that seems rude. But coming down this forest road, and then we're going to cut off to the right somewhere up here and head down over the side of the mountain, and then I guess we're connecting into the road walk from there. But little buggy. It's been really, really pleasant hike this whole section from where we left camp this morning to here. I'm going to miss the forest when we get to the road walk. Blazing could have been just a little bit better from the house down to this section. It leaves you a little bit wondering at one point whether or not you're supposed to proceed ahead or not, but otherwise it's been pretty good. I'm just hoping that the blazing for turning right up here is good. So we are back on the trail off of the road, which doesn't last for very long. It's like the one little tiny section where we travel through this little spiff of, I'm going to swing both ways so you can see, we literally have housing on both sides of us. We're in a wooded thicket that's about, I'm going to give it 30 yards wide. And it's still maintained.
How'd you miss that?
It's still blazed. Swing around here so you can see the blaze behind me. There it is. So almost done with the hike. Have less than a mile left. And other than the horrible reroute that was terribly blazed and not worth rerouting, I'm not sure why they rerouted it. It's road walk no matter what. Yeah, great day. We moved some great miles today. It's like 1 o'clock in the evening, and not even 1 o'clock. And we've moved 13 miles today.
Now probably 14.
Yeah.
25, somewhere around there.
So I have zero complaints for the day other than dealing with poor routing through this section of the trail. So this is where we just came out of the trail. Off to the right, Shenandoah Valley Battlefields Foundation and the Shenandoah County Farm Cemetery. There's not many tombstones there, but they look kind of older. And then this is T-Berry Lane. So T-Berry Lane, you're actually supposed to turn left and go that direction for the Tuscarora Trail. See the blue blaze on the cemetery pole. But we're parked up here at the left at the park. So we're turning right, head up here to the truck, and go home.
This is where we'll start back up in 2 weeks.
Yes, sir. I cannot believe that we only have one more group of sections left to do to be done with this trail. 250 miles seems like it went really fast, actually.
Yeah,
I mean, technically we started in April, it's the end of July now, but we took the entire month of June off. And I've just had a blast. I've really seen how much my legs have improved in terms of longevity. I'm able to hike so much further, so much stronger. And we're finally starting to get like our cadence down of getting to camp, getting everything set up. We have a pretty good routine going. So I think this has been really good training for us for the AT. We're back at the park where we parked the truck. There's Opal. Hi, Opal. Super happy to see Opal. Opal's cooling, air conditioning's running. I'm ready to get back in Opal. It's like 90 degrees out here. It's hot. What was total mileage?
Total mileage for the whole trip was 66.5 miles in 3.5 days.
Yeah, because it's like 147. We'll go pick up the car and then we'll drive back home to Moorfield, West Virginia. And only one more section to go. We got to get through the Shanties. So I'm super excited. Have never hiked in the Shenandoahs, even though, like I said, we grew up around this area. And I honestly did not expect to see any black bears until we made it to the Shenandoahs. But two now. Two. I'm so happy about that. Yeah. Super, super pleased. And I have just really, really loved this trail. It has its challenges, Pennsylvania being the biggest challenge. I'm glad we started with it and kind of knew that from there it was going to get a little bit easier as we went. And it definitely has. Pennsylvania is very challenging, very challenging. The rocks, the boulders, like, it's going to test you. So I'm glad we decided to go SOBO. And until next week, have a great one. Can't wait to get back on the trail.
Bye.
Bye.